Good morning, afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. My name is James Knighton, and I am in the Higher Ed Administration's program getting my master's degree. And this is my short video on my internship in the fall 2020 at Brunswick Community College in Supply, North Carolina. A little about me. As I said, my name is Eddie. This is the very last thing I have to do. I'm even finished with my classes. I just have to submit this video here. And I did my internship working for the academic support department at the Brunswick Community College, which the academic support department is essentially almost like UNCW's University College. They help people who are new get advisement, figure out how to transfer out, and just sort of navigate and develop the cultural competence of going through college. I'll be addressing these other questions as the video moves forward. To the left here is my internship supervisor, Ms. Carmen Ellis. She's the director of that department. And for her, I essentially had two roles, but I did three things. The first is I worked about 20-something hours creating a transcript articulations guide. And then for the remainder of my internship, I developed a withdrawal specialist position and created a procedure manuals for academic support to use when they advise students or are able to field questions pertaining to withdrawals themselves that relates to financial aid to contribute toward the direction that the Student Services at Blue Ridge Community College wants to move in a one-stop shop. Just a little quick overview of the transfer articulation guide here. This is not what it is. It's actually been printed out, put into pages, and kind of been bound up, and we're currently working on getting this on the website. But what I did is, this is just one, but there's two of these. So I took the college here and I had no information about it. Every time an advisor wanted to advise a student on transferring to a university, they would have to in real time go to the website and get the information. So essentially what I did is I took every university in North Carolina and about 30 to 40 small universities or independent universities. It's not in the state system. I went in, I looked up their NCCCS degree plans. I got their transfer admissions page here, so all this can just be hyperlinked so they don't have to search throughout the document. I got their deadlines for their transcripts and the student link to see that. I notated if they had an application fee and how to best apply, and if they had an application fee, exactly what that is, and if they can, request a waiver for that. There's universal requirements for transferring, but some colleges have their own specific requirements for transferring in, or sort of like a preferenced requirements that they look for, which I made a notation here. In addition to that, I just kind of got admission or information if you wanted to tour campus or if you wanted to contact admissions, you can do so with their information readily available here. And everything's hyperlinked, so you can go and look at it. I went to a lot of sites to look this information up, but for the most part, I probably went back through and called the majority of the universities just to make sure that the website's updated if they had any questions. And as you can see, I kind of replicated this process for all the state schools and about 30 to 40 other schools. And this is very helpful for them to actually have all this information in one area. The next thing I did is create a withdrawal specialist, because I'm a full-time worker in financial aid, and whenever someone comes in to withdraw from a course, they see academic support, who then sends them to me for me to explain the academic or impacts to their financial aid to them. Then I send them back to academic support, and this takes about a week or two or about a week process. Well, I worked on developing a position to where I can just see the student and essentially had the withdrawals done within the hour, depending upon when the last date of attendance can be verified. And then the remainder, I did about 40 hours. And the remainder of my internship, I created a procedure manuals for academic support to use whenever I'm not over there and they just need to advise students on how to the financial aid impact as we're moving toward a one-stop shop. And as you can see, it has a flow chart to it. Essentially, this is just teaching them how to use the steps to go into colleague, which is the program that we use, how to see if they have financial aid, how to see what their financial aid is, how to look at their satisfactory academic process record and such to, one-stop shop inform them of the impact that withdrawing would have on their financial aid. It's a pretty extensive procedures guide. It took me about 17 to 20 hours to create it, but it's very effective. And next week, I'm going to start working with the director on training her how to do this. So therefore, this brings us to the final part pertaining to my learning objectives. Stated from the outright, which remained my objective, is to acquire advising experience, work outside of my department and to just acquire some experience in both, the transfers office, but more specifically in advising, and to acquire some experience in the one-stop shop student development, because that's what I did in my culminating project on, was that one-stop shop. It looks like I've ran the time out here, but, how were my learning objectives met? Well, I kind of designed my learning objectives around what I would be doing, which was specifically getting that experience working in advising. The biggest challenges and my biggest success was acquiring that experience that I can now market, that I can now put on a resume and have a conversation about, just having that word advising there. And the internship helped me with my career path, as even though I like financial aid, I hope to move toward that advising career path, which I believe everyone in student services kind of thinks that's the holy grail. And that's it. It was a successful internship, a little rushed in course because I thought that I would be going to Ireland, and at the last minute I had to regroup and throw this together. But I would like to thank the Career Center for working with me and overseeing it, and I would like to thank you for the time you committed to watching it. And I'm done, but if you have any more school left, I hope you have a